Hey guys, Strike here, and welcome back to TEALERLAND. Now, as you can see at the top left, there is 3 stars now. We have them all. So we collected the lore pages, as I said that I would. So now we have all the lore pages, we can look through them, see what's up, check out the lore of the game, and I guess try to piece it together if we can. And yeah, let's go. 1 out of 5. ZaniCorp is the company that owns the TEALERLAND brand, and it was founded by David Artel and Teal Artel in 1973. The decision behind the name of the company remains unknown. David had a newfound interest in robotics and engineering, and decided to put it to use for entertainment purposes. While Teal's plans for the company were different, he ultimately agreed to go into this direction. TEALERLAND was not ZaniCorp's first endeavor into the entertainment business. Their first locations consisted of several small cafes with only one basic animatronic. Throughout the company's life, all of ZaniCorp's locations were located within a small number of states within the US. Despite the basic nature of these locations, they proved to be very popular. As interest grew in the new trend and income grew, the brothers' plans grew more ambitious and more advanced. In 1990, the latest project, the TEALERLAND amusement park, would finally finish its construction. The robot entertainers were now much more advanced, with each character having modular endoskeleton parts. Changing modules granted the possibility for different personalities, different routines, and radio control. Unfortunately, this module swapping system would be exploited not long after. After ZaniCorp had gained enough employees for its new establishment, TEALERLAND had its grand opening. The first few days were very successful for the company, and TEALERLAND was looking to be ZaniCorp's most profitable location yet. Even with all that, Teal was unhappy with how the animatronic mascots looked. Teal was responsible for creating the character designs for each one, while David was tasked with turning them into reality, making the suits and underlying technology for each character. Teal designed more realistic looking characters, but David felt he had done all that he was able to. David had spent many sleepless nights before the construction of TEALERLAND had completed, constructing and trying to perfect each mascot. It was not in his interest to replicate the original designs perfectly. His interest was to design animatronics that could be easily repaired, easily maintained, and easily upgraded or changed. Teal tried to push for the animatronics to be changed, but it was a fruitless effort. This would be the first of the brothers' debates. After almost a year, the interest in the amusement park took a very heavy dip. Funds were getting lower, and the effects of that were showing. Branching out into more locations was not an option with the budget the company had. Employees had to be laid off, and maintenance was becoming nearly non-existent. While David neither knew nor cared to find out the reason for the interest waning, Teal had already assigned the blame to the mascots, the same ones he was unhappy with upon the park's opening. Teal believed the characters looked too creepy and unnerving to customers, especially after time had taken its toll. The suits were made out of very fragile materials and had started to melt and sag, especially near their faces, which I guess the face designs make sense then. Teal had decided it was time to take matters into his own hands, and without David knowing, he had tampered with the animatronics. Teal had hoped to gain an understanding of the inner mechanics of each character to potentially design his own suits. This plan failed, as Teal had accidentally damaged both the suits and the underlying endoskeletons. What a bastard! He hoped things would continue to operate as normal regardless, but he would be wrong. After the failed disassembly of the animatronics, their operation took a heavy hit. What little staff there was left at the location was becoming annoyed with how often the animatronics would lock up and break. David knew of this, but he did not say anything about it, as he did not know who was responsible for ruining his creations that he had spent so much effort and time on. Already frustrated with the park's decline in interest, he wanted to track down who was to blame for the situation at hand. Shortly after these events took place, David went into the underground facility built beneath the park to try and gain a better understanding of what had happened. He was not expecting to find a lifeless body of an employee laying still on the ground. David was the first to find out, and nobody else had come down yet. Nothing had been yet near the body except for Tealer, who was in the middle of being repaired. The deceased employee had a large cut within the center of his chest. There were no screams or calls for help heard beforehand. Not wanting the public to find out about what had just happened, David hid the body within Tealer's torso. David then sealed away the now tainted facility, leaving Tealer and the body within. No one was ever allowed beneath again. With the closure of the facility, the park was deemed out of order for the next few months. The reason why it was never publicly disclosed. After much internal debate between Teal and David about whether it was worth it or not to continue with the project, Zanny Corp finally closed its doors for good, along with the TEALERLAND Park. David wanted the public to just forget about the park's existence rather than have it live on in infamy. But he never told Teal, as money was already running dry anyway, providing enough of a reason to move on. The Artel brothers had parted their ways, and both moved on to greater things. Zanny Corp was sold to an unknown buyer shortly after. The TEALERLAND Park, however, remained untouched and abandoned for the next decade of its existence. While he still had the chance, Teal breached the park and went into the hidden facility in secret. It was then that Teal had found the slowly decaying corpse of an employee within Tealer's suit. Teal had decided David's cover-up could not go unnoticed any longer. Teal had scavenged parts and blueprints from what was left beneath, and built his own modules to take control over his brother's creations using radio signals. It's 2000, David wakes up to a phone call. The bait had worked. The monster was drawn back to its home. Interesting, alright, so it stayed abandoned for the decades of its existence. Wait, so let me read. However, remained untouched and abandoned for the next decade of its existence. And it also released in 1973. And it's 2000. So this is many years later. And so we're playing as David then. I don't know. It is confusing. Did Teal want to get David back because he tried to cover up something? And then he ends up killing David in the end anyway, as we see? But what I'm trying to figure out is it David that we saw at the ending? Or was it Teal? I don't know, but those are the lore pages, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, stick around for more fan games, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.